Today's Evening First Alert weather show is brought to you by Bresky Siding.
And good Monday evening, Mid-Michigan. Chief Meteorologist Chris Eastlick with your Monday forecast update. And tonight, we of course have a total lunar eclipse. If you have not heard by now, that probably is better fit to say happening early tomorrow morning. It doesn't start until about 3:45 or so. But we do expect, unfortunately, that just as this is hitting its maximum, as we get closer to about 6 a.m., that is unfortunately when we're likely going to see clouds really start to thicken up and unfortunately probably block our viewing. However, I talked about this during our early newscast tonight and mentioned it on a social media post a little bit earlier today. Is at 6:30, I know it's not everybody. It certainly isn't me working until midnight. But a lot of us might be up at 6:30 anyway, getting ready for the day. And if you are, well, you can check outside. And if there's a lot of clouds, well, then you have nothing to lose. And if it's just cloudy and you missed out, well, you expected to miss out anyway. But if you're up anyway, perhaps maybe we get a little bit lucky and the clouds move in a little bit later. But I would say there's a low chance of that happening, considering this is what the sky tracker looks like right now. The clouds are already starting to move in. They're very thin at first. We are expecting them to gradually move from those very high, thin cirrus clouds. They should let a lot of moonlight through early. But then what you see out to the west is some of those clouds that are currently working their way through Wisconsin. These are unfortunately a lot thicker and will unfortunately start to, block out more of that moonlight as the night goes along. But it's worth a shot if you're up anyway, just to see what happens. It's going to be the last one. The next one is not going to happen. Let me just double check this. We did put that on the graphic. The next one is not going to happen until, I believe it's 2029, June 26th, 2029. So this is your opportunity to see the total lunar eclipse for the next 3 years or so. About 3 years and 3 months is when you'll have your next chance. So it is going to be a while. So I guess, again, if you're going to be up anyway, maybe worth a shot just to take a look up. If you can see the moon, great. But if not, then, well, you're kind of in the same position that you had before. This map might show things maybe just a little bit better. Let me pull this up for you. This is a look at the satellite from NASA's page. And if you see where my mouse is, these are the thin clouds that are moving over our area right now that are letting a lot of moonlight through. But then these are the thicker clouds that we'll be filling in as the night goes on. So we'll see what happens. And hopefully, this is one time I wouldn't mind being wrong, because I would love to see it if I were staying up to watch. But right now it doesn't seem like it's moving in that direction. Another big topic that we've got, let me see if I can pull this back, is we have some warmer temperatures. Going to jump ahead to the 7-day just really quick. Seems like we've got temps that are going to be gradually warming up as we go through this week. Those temperatures likely peaking as we head towards Saturday and Sunday, and even into early next week on Monday. Seems like we'll have a chance to be pretty warm on Saturday. The catch is it's going to come with a chance for rain, which it typically does this time of year. But I do think as we head towards the late part of the weekend and early next week, we'll have a chance to really clear those skies out. And we may have some really nice days as we head towards Sunday and Monday. And hopefully one of those days you can salvage a little bit. Many of us will be back to work on Monday. Excuse me, been a long day. But at least maybe on Sunday, you have a chance to get outside, take a walk, something like that. I do want to talk about temperatures in the long term, because I do think there's a chance that we could be a little bit warmer than that. So this is the blend of models, which takes all of our models into account. And what it's showing is there is at least some indication towards early next week. This is Tuesday right here, that we may have a chance to touch 60. There's an outside shot we could even get to 60 on Saturday, but with that chance for rain, we're kind of holding off a bit. I just want to see as we get closer. The timing of the rain will probably have a lot to do with that. But if we take a look at the raw model data here, This is the European model. This is based in Saginaw. It does say we've got a chance for maybe some 70s next week. However, it's just a model, so let's see how many are suggesting that. The GFS, the American model, is not quite as warm, but indicating somewhere around that Tuesday and Wednesday time frame, we might be well into the 60s. The Canadian model, also next week, suggesting something near 70. And then if we take a look at the ensemble forecast, which kind of combines all of the European model data into one, gives us a shot at some 60s going into next week. So what that tells me is that, not every single model is suggesting something in the 70s, but they're all suggesting at least a chance to really warm up further past the 60-degree mark. And so I think once we get to, maybe Saturday could be in the 60s, or maybe by Tuesday, I think we'll have a real shot to do it. You'll also notice on the 7-day we've got that little icon that's between Saturday and Sunday. So like it or not, we are springing forward. So once we get to 2 a.m. on Sunday, I almost said Saturday, but 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, you'll flip the clocks ahead. And so your new sunrise will be at 8 o'clock. So that sunrise will get a little bit later for a time. And then our sunset, though, it will be back towards 7:33, which, besides moving an hour forward, I know a lot of us probably would just prefer the clocks stay the same all year, depending on your viewpoint. But at least there's a positive. At least we start getting some of those later days moving back into the picture. And in turn, it's just a sign that we're inching our way towards spring a little bit more. March 1st was actually meteorological spring, so if you want to view it that way, a little glass half full, meteorology looks at things a little bit differently. So let's just take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast, and then we'll get you off the stream tonight, unless anybody's got any questions. But as we head towards that 4 o'clock time frame, here's where the clouds are starting to move in. Even more as we hit 6:30, which is around the time that eclipse is coming through. Let me put a little pause point here at 6:30, and maybe I can point out that there is at least a few breaks here or there, so you might have a chance. But then as we go through tomorrow, we're pretty cloudy most of the day. Certainly more gray than we were today. This model keeps hinting at a few showers. Not sure we're buying that just yet. We talked a little bit about that in the Weather Center this afternoon. Most of that system appears to be to our south. It was looking like we may have a chance at sort of a wintry mix this Tuesday, but that has changed as we've gone throughout the weekend. So I think we're kind of far removed from the better ingredients for showers, but I do think maybe some drizzle could sneak in here for tomorrow. So if that happens, don't be surprised, but I wouldn't expect anything heavy. And then we'll start clearing out Tuesday night. And then it seems like it gives us a little cloud cover into Wednesday, but I also think Wednesday will be pretty nice too as high pressure starts moving in. So the cloud cover for Wednesday on that simulation right there could be overdone just a little bit. But then here's a look at the hour by hour in the extended. And as temperatures start to warm up later this week, well, that of course introduces opportunities for rain. We've got one on Thursday. Looks like that one moves out. Friday starts dry, but then we've got another chance that moves in Friday evening. Then we get rid of that one. Another chance comes through on Saturday. We get rid of that one. And then potentially a dry Sunday before we start seeing maybe another opportunity by Tuesday of next week. So that is where things stand with the rain opportunities. I think we'll have a chance to pick up maybe more than a ½ inch of rain. And then we know that March starts warm. We just showed you those temperature graphs that take us through early next week, but once we get beyond that, there doesn't seem to be quite as strong of a lean towards above average temperatures over our area. In fact, it seems like we might have a little bit of a March cool down towards the middle of the month and potentially the end of the month. So the weather can be pretty up and down this time of year, so perhaps as we go into the beginning of March, we get that really nice thaw, but then all of a sudden things remind us that we're not quite into May just yet, and we still have the rest of March and April to get through. So I think it'll be pretty interesting how the month plays out. So let's see. We've got Lori might have to open up the windows on Wednesday, let some fresh air in. Wednesday does look like a pretty nice day. Sherry says bring on the warm weather. I know that is a popular opinion. Kathy says I'm tired of dropping off the kid in the dark. I can sympathize with that. Kevin can't wait to see the moon. I hope we see the moon. It's beautiful out right now. If we could have that eclipse start any moment, that'd be fantastic. But unfortunately, it's going to be waiting until we get to tomorrow morning. Lori says bring on the rain. I don't have to shovel it. It's always a good point. So yeah, that's where things stand for tonight. Coming up on 9:20, we've got our 10 o'clock newscast coming up. Anyone got some thoughts on the time change? Seems like always brings out a lot of opinions. But hopefully everyone had a good weekend. It was a really nice Sunday. It just happened to be a little chilly. But not seeing any comments pop up. James, good to see you. Live stream's coming to an end, so if you've got a question, feel free to ask it really quick. And of course, if you don't get a question in tonight, we always have our live streams tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'm sure we'll be talking more about rain as the week goes along, and I think we'll have a chance to maybe talk about some thunderstorms later this week. Maybe not for everybody, but I think they're possible. Of course, as we get temperatures to warm up, of course, as we get rain to move in, that's when thunderstorms become a little bit more possible. Wendy says, I hate the time change. Yep, that's a popular opinion. Kevin wishes the change will go away. It messes me up. Yeah, we've got a 1-year-old. Did pretty well with the first time change. We'll see if he does well with this one. Kristen, will the warm weather stay? I don't think so, unfortunately. But the bright side is that the warm weather, while it may not stay to where you want it next week, if we really do get some of those nice temperatures, the coldest of the cold is done. We typically, once we start getting into March, you don't necessarily have to worry about below zero anymore. Usually that cold starts to turn into maybe 20s and 30s rather than teens. You gradually start moving out. So the warm weather itself not staying just yet, but we're moving in the right direction. You'll get more of these up and down swings where you've got 20s one day, you've got 30s the next. You'll have some 40s, 50s, then back to 30s, and then you kind of do it all over again. So, all right, well, that is the live stream for tonight. Thanks, everybody, for joining, as you typically do. We will see you all tomorrow. So if you have a burning question that you can't wait to get asked, we will see you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Until then, take care of yourselves, and we will see you tomorrow.